Some things just go together. Wine and cheese, flowers in springtime, and yes, books and bottles. We pair your favorite author with your favorite drink. Your host of Books and Bottles, Benita Johnson.
Hi, welcome to Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson, owner of the Vine Wine Club. Welcome to our show where we introduce you to your new favorite author and pair their works with your favorite wine. If you've been here before, welcome back. You are in for another treat. We have a phenomenal author with us today to talk about her book, She, Fully Hydrated. If this is your first time, welcome to our show. You're gonna love it. We invite all of our viewers to please share. We want to grow our audience and we want you to share this amazing experience with your loved ones. So today we have my friend, Dr. Gwen RC Moses, and this is her book. Isn't it beautiful? She, Fully Hydrated. It's a hard copy. I love it. So let me just read a little bit about her as she comes on. Gwyn RC Moses is a native to Richmond, Virginia. Woo-hoo. She holds a Doctor of Education Leadership and a diploma from the Institute of Children's Literature. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and partners with River City Poets and James River Writers. And she's wrote plenty of books and have held many candid conversations as a host of Candid Conversations. So without further ado, I invite my friend, and I call her my sister mama, Dr. Gwen. Hey, Gwen.
Hello, sister mama. That's perfect.
And we say that because Gwen has a son, and so I kind of adopted him as my son too. So shout out to Dexter Moses, saxophone extraordinaire. How are you today?
I am fine. Ready?
Oh, yes, because you're fully hydrated. So I love the book. I love the title. I love the way it looks. The artwork is phenomenal. So what made you want to write this book?
Well, writing the book came off, I think, the crest of me actually writing my story for another compilation. Someone else had freedom to be present. And I just woke up one morning and I heard fully hydrated, got my bags, got ready. And my son and I, we went down to Yorktown Beach. I laid the draft that I had, scribbled my notes in the sand, and this is what I present to the world.
Yes, I love that story. You know, just that going away and kind of retreating to a different space to kind of be born. So when I was reading the book, you know, it's a easy read, it's a quick read. I kind of looked at it as a woman's evolution. You know, you kind of started here and you kind of talked about your journey to get to a higher space. Was that?
Yes, I agree. To me, it feels almost like a selfish woman movement.
Okay, it's nothing wrong with selfish.
Because every woman, it's for every woman. Mm-hmm. We all have our journeys that we go on, and that self-reflection and that self-care, all of that is just intertwined into the pages. I used to start off with talking about that self-preservation and spirituality, but one thing I did want to mention is the water. The water is very spiritual, where a lot of things through water is birth. Mm-hmm. So, on the beach, the revelation of the whole story came to me because it actually was a whole nother focus point that I had for She. My niece, Miracle of Miracle's Hope, particularly African American history, the children's book, mm-hmm. We were going to do like couple our art with poetry, but when I woke up that morning hearing it, I knew it just transitioned into something else, in which I was at a place where I was fully present in my life. Okay. Not in other people, but I need to be present for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's important because a lot of times as women, we play so many roles and we give everything we have to all of these other pieces, and it's very little left for ourselves. And even some of us feel guilty by devoting the little bit that we devote to ourselves, you know, whereas I'm of the, in our minds, we're taught to save yourself first, but we don't always do that.
Yes, I agree. But I do want to quote, if there is any peace to be had, it will have to come through being and not having. And we have, and we do, and we go, but taking time out to just be within is where that peace will come from and that transformation. So the compilation of this, when I saw it, all the pictures I saw in my head together, but I wanted it to be bold. I wanted it to be a statement of permissiveness. You can be free. You can be present in your life.
Yeah. And like the pages, you talk about water. Like when you look at some of the art, it's very flowy, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just kind of moving, and the pictures are, they're there, but not so defined that you can kind of see yourself in that. Like sometimes you see you're so defined, but this book, you can easily put yourself in and, kind of see yourself in your own journey. You said a very important verb that I think a lot of us take for granted, and that verb is be. It's important to be present. I have a very good friend, and she's the executive producer of this show, and she has a line of candles and I think cosmetics called I Am. And is I am fierce, I am confident. And so we have to, as women, I think it's important to always stress the I am, because that's presence, and the be, you have to be right here and acknowledge, where we are in order to identify. Because, like we just said, I was joking when we said, not joking, but not joking, that we're sister mothers. But sometimes we do, we're living through our kids while, our kids are doing great things, but we over here doing something great too. Yes. And so sometimes we forget to acknowledge that.
Yes. And I like that, because a lot of times we don't acknowledge where we are because we deem ourselves as ordinary, as average, as less than, underqualified. But for myself, once I became the light in someone else's darkness, I knew that there was light within me, but I had to get through that point. And as you read through She Fully Hydrated, the poetic affirmations is a complete story that can be read daily.
So what happened, and you don't have to go into great detail, but we all get to a place in our life where that light, comes on. Where were you in your life that you say, hey, it's all about Gwen? It can be all about Gwen.
Well, I'll give you the short version.
Okay.
I think when I first met you sitting at the rabbit hole, and then we sort of connected there, and I was sort of telling where my journey was there. I wasn't at the place where I am now. And once I discovered who I was and whose I was through me stretching myself, like through worship, like through forgiveness, taking paths that were actually healing for me, because I'm not responsible for anybody else's response.
That's right.
Action. So I had to take care of who I was so I can be able to even support myself in a healing process.
And that's a big step. A lot of times we get hung up on anger or whatever, whoever did whatever to us. But forgiveness is freeing for ourselves. I always say anger is heavy.
Yes.
And I ain't trying to carry no extra weight.
Oh, me either. I was just saying, that don't belong to me.
Yeah. So it's like forgive and let it go and just walk away. I had a mentor years ago, and his thing was, he's an old Jewish man. His thing was, don't get mad, charge more. And he taught me that lesson against him, like, because I was doing some work with him, and we would have these like intense arguments. And so he was like, don't get mad, charge more. Like, okay, I'm charging you more. Right? So, it did help to just pay attention to what's important, and our worth, we're worth so much. And sometimes we we underplay ourselves, for lack
Yes.
of a better word.
Don't acknowledge it. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So what? Tell us who you are. You have this doctorate in education leadership. What's your background?
Oh, my background is education. Retired, returning teacher at this time, and just contemplating and think about next steps.
Okay.
With the pandemic, some things were thwarted, but God is still in control in all things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also a poet for River City, where I speak around our VA community as representative of Richmond, Virginia poets.
I think there's a picture of us on Facebook, maybe shortly before COVID. I came I came to an event where you were speaking, you were reciting your poetry.
Yes. And what else? And now I'm an artist. Yes, I've admitted. I've accepted.
You
I am an artist. So
yes. So did you do the illustrations in your book?
No, I'm not an illustrator. I think I'm harder on myself than as an editor. I don't edit my work. I expect the same feedback that I dish out come in return to help me. So no, I don't illustrate or edit, but one day that may be so.
All right, I'll put it out into the universe for you.
Yeah.
So do you edit other people's work?
Well, I edit white papers, like dissertation proposals and the stuff people.
Oh, the heavy stuff.
Yeah, I do the heavy lifting.
Oh, somebody has to do it. God bless you.
Yes.
So listen, without further ado, because nothing pairs better than a book than wine. So I want to bring on my sister and my friend, Miss Gwen Hurt, owner of Shoe Crazy Wine.
Oh, what's we're drinking?
From one Gwen to another. Hi.
Yeah, the Gwens.
Double Gwens. I love it.
Yeah. So Gwen, I'm gonna tell you, I was surprised when Gwen texted me the picture of the wine that she wanted to talk about. I was like, what? Is this why I can't find my wine in the store because she's buying it too?
Yes, I had to. I mean, red Delta, and then just the power that's in red. I think my personality is rather red.
It's red. So, I can see that.
Yes. So here's mine in my bag here because my daughter told me I can pick it up with one hand.
Okay, yeah, we see with the red cast. So I have mine in my glass. So Gwen, tell us about our favorite wine.
I know, right?
Well, I have my Mama Bear sipping cup here.
Yeah.
Well, Gwen, I am so happy to be on here with you, and obviously Benita with you as well. This is really, truly our favorites. It's one of my top three is the red blend, and it's got a little history behind it, but it is a 3-blend varietal. So it's a Zen, a Merlot, and just a hint of Syrah. Just to give it a little personality. Mm-hmm. And I love this wine. When I first started Shoe Crazy back in 2013, I was my best customer, and I was drinking this deck. At one point, everyone goes, "You need to write a check to the company, okay? Because you drank through a good portion of what's in the warehouse." And it was the red blend. And I always tell people, when you drink wine, get your nose in it. It has a beautiful day. It is just wonderful. And then, to look at it up in the light to get some clarity. It's got that really dark hue, red hue. It's just a beautiful wine that kind of balances on the palate. And the one thing about Shoe Crazy wines is they're very soft. So you're not going to get bitter bite, right, Gwen?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, is that it just goes down so smooth. It really
I can handle it.
Yes. And it really is the gateway to red wines.
It is.
Typically a gateway to red wines. And that Merlot gives it that little hint of sweetness, and that Zen, that little jamminess, and then raw, a little spiciness. And it's just a beautiful red wine.
Yeah, yes. I love it. It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also I paired it with some Godiva chocolates.
Okay.
Raspberry and strawberry. And it's like, I felt like laying down once.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no, let me sit up.
And have
Yes.
Well, that is interesting that you say that, Gwen, because I was going to say, with this wine and with your book, Fully Hydrated, I love the permissiveness part of it, giving yourself permission to be who you are.
Yes.
I mean, it's a powerful statement. And Bonita, to your point, to women, we need to be able to do that and to give ourselves permission to be selfish and, love our wines and love our books. And I would literally lay down on my sofa with that book and a glass of wine and really take in all that book has to offer. So I'm really looking forward to reading it and actually having it with a little of this melange, which used to be called menage.
Yes.
That's a story.
That's a good story too. I should have you on here before you write your book, so we can talk through the book and let somebody scribe while you're talking.
But this page fits right in. She drank sweet wine, grew stronger, became braver, and full of joy.
I love that. Oh my God. I want to take that quote and put it on one of our advertisements. Quote. Yes.
You can.
Spot on. I love that.
Wow.
Can. That gives you a little bit of a little teaser of what that book has in it. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So one of the things that in the book that you said that really resonated with me, and I know, we all go through our seasons and seasons of change. And so the simple sentence, she triumphed through competitive seasons. And so sometimes things happen, in our life, we go through these major changes and you're like, how am I going to get through this, through this piece? And even though you've been through things before, when this next thing comes, sometimes we have that defeatist attitude, even if it's just for a moment. But I think it's human that we feel that way. But it's like, how do we get through, this thing and we triumph? And we all can give, a bunch of stories that this has happened. And I think one of the beauties of your book, Gwen, is that all of these pages that kind of tells where this woman is at this particular moment.
Right.
There's something relatable that we all can say.
Yes. And every woman is at some point on those pages.
Mm-hmm.
Not one page is dismissive of any woman. It's every woman's story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. Wow. And if any book can give you the encouragement to stand up after you've been knocked down, that's a good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like that's what this book is. So I'm gonna have to get a copy as well, because I think any, like I said, any written word that can encourage and help is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and sometimes we take for granted. I think it's just brave of you, Dr. Gwen, just to kind of share your journey, because sometimes we think, our journey is just my story. It's not important. It's not inspiring to somebody, but it certainly is. Somebody can take something, that any of us say and kind of cling to that. And we never know, who's listening or what they're thinking when we're sharing, but it's brave to just share. And so many times we as women, I think we keep a lot of stuff in because we feel silly is it doesn't matter, but it does.
It does.
Yes.
All right, yes. So you wrote other books. So tell us about, let's see.
Oh my goodness.
I did not know that you were like this author until she Fully Hydrated. Okay. And so I read the back of this book and I'm like, I've known this woman for a long time. Right? Because when we met, our baby was in high school. So now our baby is in grad school. All right. Other titles include A Perfect Fit. My teacher made me write this. Bees and Butterflies. And on and on. I mean, how long have you been writing?
2007, but I began it in 5th grade with A Perfect Fit. And then at age 40, I believe, that's when that was published.
Somewhere you're only 39.
But I can't not pass up the opportunity to give a shout out to Arvette McLean.
Oh, okay. We know Arvette.
She really was this that gentle seeded voice. It's, oh, you know, she just sucked me into how you think you are. And I went through the 28 days with her, and I was just coming to the point of loving myself and having that inward peace. And my mind was like, well, what can you learn from her? What you don't know? All of you been through, you know?
Yeah.
I had that attitude, but I didn't let that attitude and that mindset remain, because I am not who I am. I'm a part of whose I am. I mean, if you can understand.
I do.
So,
and so Arbet, the name of Arbet's book, what is How You Think You Are.
You are. And channeled my thinking to a whole nother level. And I believe just that me bowing down to my insecurities to liberate myself. Oh my goodness, what a presentation. That's all. I mean,
and it has to feel so refreshing, you know, just to, you know, shed all of that fear. You know, so much of what we don't do is driven not in, you know, we don't know how. It's the fear. You know, we're afraid to fail. And, you know, Gwen and I both have been in business for a number of years, and some things that we've done, you know, it's like, oh God, you know, just help me get out of this, you know, help me keep the lights on, you know, lights in here blinking, you know? Yeah, but, you know, but we continue and we go through, and when we get to the other side, it's like, whoo. Yeah.
Yes, because I always tell people, when I was writing She Fully Hydrated, I had to go get some blood work done, and I discovered that I was dehydrated. So I was like, Lord, what do you mean you giving me She Fully Hydrated? I said, man, they can't even get a drink of water out of me.
Yeah.
But She Fully Hydrated, it's a tool to free yourself. Because everybody has their own capacity within them. They just need to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You do. You need to acknowledge it. So
what do you say to other women who look like your past self? Like, what do you say to them to get them to say, you know, I've been there, let's do this. I mean, you can do this. What do you say?
We're just in casual conversation. If I meet someone on the street and I'm getting rid of my past self, I have rid myself of my past self, I would have to give them my cliches or what helped me through. In whatever situation I was, I always tell people, you can still respect that person and love that person, because even in that situation, some good was in it somewhere. Right. And I know I have a beautiful son and daughter. If nothing else, it was for God's intent for them to be here. So I give praise just for that one thing. And that keeps me moving. But I always tell my friends, whoever the person is, to me, if the person is something else to you, Benita, you hold that relationship with that person. Don't let somebody else come between you and another because of what you think another has done. Because my relationship would not be the same as your relationship. We all have personal relationships with each other.
Do you find that, or do you think like women, a lot of times we get hung up on what other people think?
Yeah, that's true. But I'm so transparent with myself that if someone thinks something null or ill will of me, I'm so transparent with the heart of who I am that I don't let what you think disturb me to the point where it actually creates debris in my life.
Yeah, if I can just interject here,
please.
When you say that, when you ask that question, it kind of struck a chord, because people have always said that I appear as cold, or, you know, like the ice woman, or bougie, or all these things. And at one point I used to, you know, it used to hurt me, because that's not who I am, right? Like, I know what I am and who I am. And so instead of, you know, continuing to try to figure out, why do people say that? Why, you know, what is it can I change about myself? I went, why should I change myself? I know who I am. And if I walk into a room and if that's what you see, that's you. That has no reflection on me. I had to stop embracing someone else's negative view of me. And once I did that, I was free. I'm not kidding. It was the most freeing thing ever. If you want to say, you know, she's this or she's that, again, that's coming from a place in your heart, not mine. And that I the heart of what, you know, we're talking about here.
Yeah. You know, I was raised by my dad. And so, and kind of, you know, just kind of being raised by a man, you know, they don't really care what other people think. And so he kind of raised me like what other people think really don't matter. So like there were some days I went to school and I thought I was cute and I was everything. I probably looked ridiculous, but I was confident in that ridiculousness, you know, because I was okay with that. You know, I mean the self-esteem issues I had was as an adult, and it was more dealing with corporate and thinking about what higher ups thought. You know, it was never about, you know, the way I looked or the way I carried myself. It was none of that. And I remember I was in 6th grade and, you know, in middle school. So it goes 6th through 8th. And I was just walking down the hall. It was my one day of being a mean girl. So I was walking down the hall and these 2 girls approached me and they said, "We don't like you." And they said, "You know, you want to know why?" I said, "No," because I really didn't want to know why. I didn't care. And so they said, "We don't like you because you think you're cute." And I said, "No." I said, "You don't like me because you're fat." And so it was my mean way of saying you don't like yourself, you know. Right. So in 6th grade, I don't know how to say that. So I said it like the mean girl way. Right. But I knew enough then that you don't even know me. So you not liking me has nothing to do with me. Yeah. It ain't gonna change me, you know, from being who I was, you know, because really at 11 years old, I really had little control. You know, my daddy, you know, bought my clothes, and, you know, my aunt, who was a hairstylist, she did my hair. I had zero control over what you saw. So you really didn't know me. Right. So, so I think, you know, that's what happens a lot of times. You know, we have these perceptions and we go on them. And once we know ourselves, it's like we are super powerful and we kind of shine through that.
Exactly.
And that takes us back to evolving and evolution within ourselves. Because time is forgiving.
Yeah.
And I'll read this short piece as a poem. Time is forgiving. She used to sing sad songs. She wept underneath trees. She held tears back. She feared the word please. She played games. She screamed to mock outbursts in her head. She sang sad songs to happy music. Then one day, she took a chance on dancing. Her happy place knew nothing of her sad song. Time is forgiving. Wow. So if you ever see me dancing,
yes, I have.
Reason why. Reason be so.
I seen you.
Well, as long as we don't see you twerking, okay?
No twerking. I just like
I see you as a free sister, and I appreciate you for it. So I just want to thank you both for being on the show. Gwen Hurt, Shoe Crazy, how do folks get your wines?
You can drink it out of my glass. No.
Well, you can't have mine.
Look for us at www.shoecrazywine.com. It'll tell you all the retailers that carry our wines in which states, as well as how you can buy it online. And you can buy it from the Vine Wine Club here in Virginia, Bonita's Vine Wine Club. We go through her online, and we're at Sam's Clubs and Walmarts and Food Lions and, you know, all kinds of retailers. But www.shoecrazywine.com.
Thank you, Gwen. And Dr. Gwen, we see your website going across our screen. How do we get your book?
My books are available on Amazon.com, anywhere books are sold, Walmart.com. Also, you can learn more information about me if you go to www.drgwenrcmoses.com. And be certain you can choose She Fully Hydrated to start your journey to freedom.
Yay, I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you to our viewers. If there's authors out there you'd like to be on the show, hit us up at info@groseprod.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to share this video. Until next week, be blessed. Cheers.
Cheers.
Camped out at home for
And happy
COVID?
reading.
Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.